another episode of Questions with Queens. I am your host tonight, Ish, and this is my lovely co-host.
And it's Brianna or B.
All right, guys, and we want to remind you guys to follow us on all of our social media platforms. We are on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we are on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we are on Apple Podcasts, we are even on TikTok, okay? So you can find us everywhere at Questions with Queens and QWQ Podcast on Twitter. Tonight we're going to be talking about a touchy topic. We're going to be talking about, can you be pro-Black while dating outside of the Black community? So we are very interested to hear what everybody is thinking on that. And we're going to just dive right into it. So B, what do you think? Can you be pro-Black while dating outside of the Black community?
I think you can. And I say that you can because I feel like, I saw a tweet. It's just like, just because you hang around Black people, you're not Black. Just because you listen to urban music, not just hip hop, but urban music, it doesn't make you urban or, more, it doesn't make you Black. I'm going to stick to Black, not even urban, because people can argue both sides of that. But I don't think it changes your views on things. I do think, however, that you have to kind of hype it up even more when you're in that situation. Not that you have to, like I'm saying you have to, but I think that society expects you to hype it up even more, hype the pro-Blackness up because of the situation that you're in. And I think society makes you just look at things with a magnifying glass. So it makes you want to just have to look at things at a brighter scale than you are. And you don't have to. I don't think that you should be able to. I don't think you have to look at it like that. I think society makes everything more sensitive than what it has to be. Yes, you can still be in a relationship that's outside of your race and be pro-Black. Because it's your views. It's how you feel about a topic. It doesn't change who you are.
Right. So yeah, I'm gonna agree. I honestly think that you can still be pro-Black and date outside of your race. Like you said, it doesn't make you less of a Black person because you're dating a white person or whoever. Because that's just like saying if you don't shop or Black shops and stuff like that, then you're not pro-Black.
Exactly.
And Walmart, everybody shop at Walmart, and Walmart is not a Black-owned company. So it's just like, being pro-Black doesn't mean that you have to deny everything else.
Everything else, like, right.
But my problem come in when people date outside of their race. The problem to me is when you start to say, oh, I date outside of my race because Black women are when you start to break down the value of the Black women, that is when I have a problem with people that date outside of their race. No, you date outside of your race because that is your preference. Period.
Right, you can do whatever you want to do.
Don't say that you're dating outside of your race because Black women are nagging, or Black women don't listen, or Black women don't conform, and all of that, because that is not the reason. Maybe you aren't somebody that we can submit to. Did you ever stop to think of that? Like, because Black women,
and it doesn't have that. A person's character is not their skin color. That's like racism. Like you basically saying, just because I'm Black, I'm got to be negative. I got to be this, and that. A person's character is going to show no matter what skin color they are. You just might find better characteristics in another person, but it's not because they are of other skin color. It's not because of those things that they're lacking in a characteristic that you want. It's not either or. It's not because of your skin color. So I don't think that you can, just because you have views about somebody else doesn't mean you have to denounce the other thing. Like, you can like spaghetti and be like, I just like spaghetti, that's my favorite food, but you're not saying, oh, I don't like Alfredo, that shit is disgusting, and all of this. You didn't try it. You don't know. They're not the same thing. So it's not, you don't have to say, yeah, I agree with you. You don't have to say that I don't like the other thing just because you do like something else.
What are some things that you think people face when they do date outside of their race? So being Black and dating outside of your race, like what what difficulties do you think that people may face in their relationships or their like everyday life or their families or whatever?
Now, I personally have never dated outside of my race. I don't feel that I would, but again, I don't know what my life might change, my preferences change. You start to learn different people, and if a person happens to do everything that I need them to do, dating wise and personality wise and stuff like that, that I require for myself as a woman looking for a man, then I might, but I don't see myself doing that. Like, I'm not attracted physically to a person of another color. So I think that just knowing of people who are in another relationship, I know how it feels to hear that. Knowing like, if I know a person of color and I know that I start to get to know them and I know who they are or whatever, and then they tell me their partner is another color, I will take, like, in my head, be like, oh, okay, and I'll start to do that. And that's because I think society puts that on us and makes you feel like it's such a horrible thing. Whereas though they can just be in love with who they're in love with, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I think some of the risks and some of the things that they face are just being belittled, ridiculed, by society, going out, people looking at them, like, what? Especially if it's not whoever's side, majority. Like, if you go out to a black party and you're dating somebody that's white or other, then that majority is going to be like, well, what the hell is going on? So I think those things affect them. But I know a person who it doesn't care, and they embrace them just as well. This person is of color, a woman of color, and they embrace their relationship and don't care. They go everywhere. And in fact, the other person is doesn't make, I'm not saying that they're black. Of course, nobody can be black if you're not black, but they are more down to earth and like have, a person of something that you wouldn't think, like, you don't stigmatize them. You wouldn't think that they're of other color. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like how we do, and everybody knows that they do that. They're like, oh, you act like, a white boy or something like that. And that
Right.
person does not. And there is so different. Like, but I think
Right.
those internal things that we go through is because we're ignorant to certain things, and we don't like to try other things, and we don't like to learn other things about anything or anybody. If it's something that we don't know about, we shelter ourselves and put ourselves in the box, and like, oh, this is our box, this is it, that's all we're staying in, and don't
Right.
get care to learn other things about other people. And I think that's a disheartening thing for our race. But yeah, I think they definitely have to deal with all of those things, how people feel about them.
Yeah, I think some difficulties that like interracial couples might face are judgment, um, especially like bringing like your significant other back home to your parents that are more so like, oh no, you need to date black, or oh no, you need to date white. Is that can be very challenging, like
And
to have.
traumatic.
Yeah, it's a lot to have on on your relationship. I think they experience cultural differences sometimes as well. um because like no matter how understanding your significant other might be, they will never understand like the daily struggles that we face as black women or black men. Like you will
That's what
never
I
they
was
will
saying.
never be able to understand that fully. Like no matter how supportive they are, it's
Right.
just like you'll never be able to connect with them on that type of level as if you were dating like somebody that is, you know, the
The
same
same color as you.
race as you. Um, because like you coming home, like my husband, if my husband come home and just be like, I was pulled over by the cops and they did this and that, I will be
Mm-hmm.
able to understand where he's coming from. Whereas though someone that never had people that to go through that, or never had siblings or family members that have to go through that, wouldn't understand that because they don't. That's not one of their struggles. So I think that can
Right.
be
So
like a
that's an
difficulty
internal
that they
battle
might
that
face. Yeah.
they're gonna
Um,
add into the dynamics.
yeah. But for the most part, like I said, I've never dated outside my race, so I wouldn't really know too many things, but I'm just imagining like the things that
Mm-hmm.
might happen or what I would have to face if I did the outside of my race. And that was some of the things that I thought of. Like, we would never be able to relate on that level because you wouldn't be able to understand. And that doesn't necessarily make or break a relationship.
Yeah, it depends
But
on
it
you.
is
And of
something,
course, you
yeah.
go in knowing that the person is going to have different views than you and different, you don't have to totally be on the same line with your partner, period. Even if they are a person of color, you don't have to be on the same total line of that. But like you said, it's a cultural thing that some things are just learned and some things are just experienced by people of color only, and that we only understand and that we're only able to talk to maybe another person of color about those things for them to relate and understand on a deeper emotional level maybe. So I'm always interested of like how people navigate those things, like if they are in a relationship with someone that's of a different race than them, because it's like, what are those things are important after a while, of course, because you go into children, you become parents. How are you going to, like, what are you going to teach them about what are you going to teach them about your experiences? Are you going to share any stories? How are you guys going to navigate those things together?
Yeah. So I know you stated that you think that you can be pro black and date outside of your marriage, like you think that is okay. But do you ever feel like it was a time where you felt like you like a celebrity or whatever, when you realized that they were dating outside of their race? Has there ever been a time that you were like upset, like, oh, you pro black and you scream Black Lives Matter and this and that, but you're dating a white woman? Did you like do you
I wouldn't say like upset. I think that's too harsh of a word. It just makes you like, like really, type of thing. But it's like quickly get over it, because I don't judge anybody's relationship or anything that they're in. We don't know everybody's story, especially celebrities. Like, yes, they're artists. They put on, a character for us to enjoy for our entertainment, but that might not be who they are, or that might not be what their views are. We don't know how people feel about certain things. But if they are on the stand front, like, yeah, Black Lives Matter, and or uh I'm doing this for my Black people, or even women, just period. Like, I'm doing this for women or whatever, and then be dating, a white person who knows nothing about that, or might not, even care about that. But we don't know. Again, like, I don't know what personally they're dealing with. But yeah, of course, it stings, of course, when on a social media front, because everything's so quick. You're judging right away on Instagram or, our social media. You're like, that's corny, and keep on
right?
going. But I don't really think about it on my heart. But it does make you have a little slight taste in your mouth of like,
Right.
what?
Because I think that it's uncomfortable for some people.
Yes, I think that's
It's
a better
very
word.
uncomfortable for some people because I feel like people expect, like, if you're pro black, then people are expecting you to be pro black
All
white,
the way around the
pro black
world.
all the way around. So when you come out and you're dating a white woman, um, it
Or
doesn't
a
sit
white
right
man.
with a lot of people. Yeah, it doesn't sit right with a lot of people because they feel like is it doesn't match. It
Right.
doesn't. It's not what you're screaming. It doesn't sit right. To me personally, like, that doesn't really bother me. Like, I mean, like I said, like, you can be pro black and date outside of your race. Now, some concepts and things like that, like, I get people views on, but to me, I just feel like it's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah,
Now,
you can't help who you love, but I do understand us women of color or men of color who are looking like, really, they feel kind of slighted by certain things, and that's because us as a community, as a whole, as a nation, we have been slighted by other races and stuff like that. So it goes more deeper than that. It's not so much shallow and you're like really just thinking like, oh my god, what's she done with him. It's just like, dang, another
right,
thing that we done lost. And I understand that from people of color. I understand, but I don't personally like think too much into it like that, because again, I love I love people who in love, like, LGBTQ, all of those things. I don't care. Love who you love, as long as you are safe, respectful, kind to each other, and making each other happy. That's my big thing. But I
Yeah, I
do,
think I see like on
I do
social
get it.
media, I see a lot of like backlash on men that they outside of their race, but not so much on the women.
Women, right?
And I honestly be thinking like, why is that? Like, you guys, like really go in on these men when they are found it to be dating outside of their race. But for a woman, for women, it is. I just cannot get women together today. I don't know what is going on. Okay,
Sorry for
for women, you guys don't really get so upset, and I just was like wondering like why that might be, but
yeah. I saw another celebrity, Tika Sumpter, who she played on Have and Have Nots, and what was the other movie she was like really in? I don't know. You guys know her. Google her.
yeah,
She has a her husband is white and they have children. And I went just researching for this podcast on her Instagram and stuff like that. And no, Instagram is not everybody's life, but it's a little snippet of some things that they like and go about. She's seems super pro black, especially now the climate that we're in with the pandemic and all of the lives that we lost, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, all of those things amongst others. That's so sad, but I noticed that she was speaking out on those things, and then I went to her husband's page, and he has so much more history and so much more information about the Black Lives Matter movement, and just like a lot of history about the people, the system as a whole, and how it's divided us as races, and like how it always slights us, like I was talking about. And it seems like he's more on the forefront of that than she was on Instagram. I don't know how they are doing that personally, but it had me thinking like, all right, is he doing that because he has to, like I said, you have to hype it up and like hyper like something because you are dating a woman of color, or is that normally who you are? Because it went back like past even all this going on right now. Like his page was full of history, and like he even had the Obama and Biden breakdown of y'all saying his caption, like y'all saying Obama didn't do anything, look, and like educating the people. And this is coming from a white man, so I'm like, oh, okay, so it's sad that we have to think that way, and we feel like we're getting slighted when men of color dating outside of their race. It's sad that we feel that we lost. You know what I'm saying? Like it's sad that it's like that, because people are people. They're like I said, you're attracted to characteristics, how that person makes you feel. It just so happens that they're different skin color, and it
right.
shouldn't matter.
So Dr. Umar Johnson, he's like very pro
Come
black.
on, doctor. Come on.
Come on, doctor. He's very like dating
That's it.
outside of your race is just wrong, and he's very like straightforward. Like he pushes the black, like dating black, buying black, what the black community can do to be better, how we are affected by dating outside of our race, or not buying into black companies and things like that, or educating ourselves on these things. And a lot of his views, like I understood, but it didn't so much change my view on dating outside your race can't be that detrimental to the black community. Now, like I said, I understood where he was coming from. I definitely did, because he was stating that like a lot of cultures push for dating inside the culture. So for us, we are taught to not be colorblind by the church, or we're taught to not be colorblind through our parents and things like that. And other cultures are not like that. And we think that it's selfish when it's not. It's not selfish to want to preserve the black community, or procreate in black and things like that. So I understood where he was coming from. But I was just like,
I feel like we don't even preserve the people, our own people. So it's like, why are you only upset when it's somebody, when they are dating outside of their race, or a
because he
person is dating
basically
outside of their race?
stating like not that he was more so upset, but he was saying basically like every culture do it but us. Every
Right.
culture, every culture will say, no, I don't want you with a black man. No, I don't want you with a black woman. No, I don't want you being white with a Chinese man. No, I don't want you being
Mm-hmm.
Chinese with a you know what I mean? Like they all do it and they're not ashamed and they do it unapologetically and
Mm-hmm.
even basically saying we're the
They're
only race
united. We're the
to do
only
it.
race that are struggles with being united, and it's sad, and that's why it seems like we're losing so much because of like we're not together. We don't have one thought. We're not uplifting each other. We're not. We'll tear down our own spouses and stuff like that. It for what? Like you don't see other races doing that so
Right. So I
much.
put some
They do it, but it's
right.
not so much put on the forefront, or it's not so disrespectful. Like we have to do better with caring about our own kind before we are mad that someone has
Yeah, I
appreciated
brought them
us.
up because it sparked a lot of questions. Like, do you feel like when you date or marry outside of your race that you lose your culture? Like, do you lose the black culture when you are dating a man that's not
We
black
had
or
a comment said that they wouldn't. Q. He said he wouldn't date a woman that is open to dating outside of her race. Why?
what he's saying? I get what he's saying, but I just want to make it clear that I mean, not that it's important to make clear, but I do want to make it known that like I'm not saying that I date outside my race. I am one that I don't. I'm just not attracted to people outside of my race. It
Yeah,
has
same.
nothing to do with wanting to procreate black or anything like that. It's just something that I'm just not attracted to. I love my black men. I love my black women. Not saying that I date women, but like I just love blackness. And it's no shade towards other races or anything like that. Like I love you
It's
guys too, but just
right.
not in
You're
this
not you're not denouncing somebody else's race. You're just
race.
saying what you like, and that's your preference, and that's
And
your
I
right.
and yeah, so it's not like I
I
mean,
have a friend or somebody I used to work with, and they will always, 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 even to this day, talk about how now she's black. She has had a child with a black man,
mhm.
but she is always, always, even to this day, they didn't work out. And she like always is reposting like all these, white men and, oh, they look so good. And that, that's totally fine. But it seems like it's coming from a place of like, oh, like you said earlier, like, oh, I don't like, they treated me wrong. So I ain't gonna do that. And like even before she had her child, we worked together before she became pregnant, and she will always be like, yeah, I'm gonna have a mixed child. I'm gonna have a mixed baby.
Feel like that has an identity crisis because for you to feel like your child is going to be prettier or better off or
Right. And that's
whatever
a
just
big
because
thing.
you're mixed means that you having some type of identity crisis. You cannot identify with the black community or the blackness that you are because you felt like either one, somebody hurt you. Two, you aren't confident enough in your black skin, or three, you don't feel like you weren't taught that black equals excellence. You're looking at black as black equals less than, black is less than a white person, black is less than a Puerto Rican person, or black is less than this. But if we start looking at ourselves for what we are worth and how beautiful, how excellent, and how the world was built on our backs, like we did
Period.
this, we did
Period.
this. Black
And
magic is not something that we made up. This is how we live it, baby.
we done made the whole world. We did everything. Y'all don't even know.
You
But
can't
yeah,
find
it's
one.
just it's just the that's just the stigma and the ignorance. I'm just like, that's what we're dealing with, and that's why y'all really are upset that people are dating outside their race. It's not because of the person, because like one could call you a racist if you are upset. Like you're mad that it's specifically that person. It's the self-hate. You don't care about yourself, that you're mad about that. And it's interesting because like she has a black child now, and she had a child with a black man, but he did horrible things. So it's just like, oh, I told y'all, like, and it's all those type of posts, and I'm like, girl, no, like that ain't it. And you
That
have
was
your
just one
grandson. What you
way.
gonna tell him?
Yeah, and I think as parents, like, it's our job to install that in our children because at the age of 4 years old, children have some type of concept of race.
Okay.
Although it might not be deep and it might not be a full understanding, but a lot of our brown children at 4 and 5 years old already are in their mind thinking that the white doll is prettier, the black doll is ugly. The black doll. They actually did a study with that. They
Yep, they
they would
did.
they would put the Barbie dolls, the Barbie dolls or baby dolls in front of the children and ask them which one is pretty, which one is smart, which
It's a
one is
whole thing in psychology. They do it's a black and white test, and they do like who's going to get more grades,
right.
who's gonna get a job, who's going to get the job, and it'll be two different
And
colors,
and
two
it's
different
and it's
races, and the children
and
pick
it's
that.
right, and it's not even just all on the parents because society is is
It's our
whew,
job to reverse that. It's
is our
society
job
that's pushing
to
it, the
yeah
agenda,
because
but it's our job
society
to change it.
yeah, but why do you think people date outside of their race? Do you think it's purely for love, or do you think that sometimes it could be another subconscious level decision?
Sometimes I'm not, I've never done it. I've never I dated outside of my race. I know of three couples that are mixed interracial race from relationships. And it seems to work for them. Again, I say that they just do it. I think so, for love. I hope so, that it's for love and by somebody making you feel good. But I think it could be sometimes. I know for other races, it's for they push it on to them sometimes. Is, oh, try that. The whole men have bigger thingy things, are men of color. That's a thing. I think sometimes it might be that. Hopefully it's not, and it's not that shallow, but I think it happens. But I think and hope that it's just purely for love. But I can see that other races can make you want to date outside of your race because of society and what they say. Like,
Yeah, I think that some people date outside of their race for love, but then again, I think some people date outside of their race because they have an identity crisis and um, they feel like they feel like if
better.
I have
It's white, so it got to be right.
is or yeah, it makes them better. Like just take for instance like our priorities, right? A bunch of people will buy Jordans, will buy Mercedes, or buy um all of these different shiny things before they buy a home.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because they feel like people going to see this and this is what I relate wealth to, or this is what I relate as having a better life or a better whatever. And I think that people do that in relationships too. Like if I date
Mm-hmm.
a white man or a white woman cannot get the word right tonight. I don't know what's going on with me.
You got it.
Goodness. But if they date outside of their race, I feel like they sometimes they think that like that makes them better. This makes me better.
Mm-hmm.
This makes me in. This makes me whatever. And it don't even be that. Like even with not even just on the dating level, but just like oh
Or
if
for
I
bragging rights.
yeah, like if I have white friends, I'm automatically better. If I live in a white neighborhood, that it's automatically better schools,
Even in
better
some songs, like the men will be like, she foreign, not
yeah,
even knowing that she could be from Africa and be foreign. Like
right.
you don't even know. Oh, duh.
Yeah, it just
And
seems like
making
it
that
gets
seem like
better.
it's better.
So I think that sometimes that be the case too. But like you said, I will hope that it's for love. But I mean, I feel like thinking like that is like a fairy tale.
Yeah, and then it's also people's environment. So like if you met
Yeah,
your spouse in college or you met your partner in college, it's a melting pot. If you go to South Philly, it's a melting pot of all kinds of people. So you're more prone to dating someone outside of your race in an environment with multiple races.
yeah.
Whereas if you're just literally in, say, North Philly, the
Yeah.
north,
Oh,
not Temple,
down
not
here with us.
not that, but
Oh.
north, you're gonna probably not date someone outside of your race. So I think that plays a part into it too. And that's where most of the people that I know that are interracial relationships, they met either in college or at their high school or something like that. and they're together from that. But yeah, I think I would hope it's just for love, but I can see why, you know, people would date for other things, like you said, to better themselves, where they think they're getting better because they're dating that person because society tells us, oh, that might be better, they're better, you know, and
Right.
having an identity crisis and don't love yourself. So we need to work on that as a society, as a community of Black people, working on loving ourselves, loving the people in our community, get to know them, praise them, do not tear them down and all that stuff. I think we really, really, really need to work on that, period, on all levels.
Okay, so can you be in love with a white man or a white woman and feel like and still feel inferior to the white race? Like, oh, they are nothing but oppressors or they're racist and this and that. Like, can you still have those feelings while dating a white man or woman?
I
Or do you feel
mean,
like that has to go away? Because like, how does that work? Dating a white girl
yeah,
or
I feel like no. I mean, you could, if your question is, could you? Yes, you could think like that. You could think anything you want, but I don't think you should, because you're now opening yourself up to those group of people. And then that's saying that, like, that's keeping yourself in a box too, saying that all these group of people are racist or all these group of people are going to do this to me, not the person that you're with. That's not, he, you know, that person doesn't come from those group of people. It's just, you're making it generalized, and it's not. It's who you're dating. Is that person like that? Does that person treat you good? You know, if they
right?
come from a
So
family of that,
basically,
you
you're
can't help
saying
that. Certain
so
sometimes
basically,
people's families are not who they are.
right. So basically, you're saying once you date outside of your race with a white man or a white woman, you are no longer able to feel like white people are racist. That's what I'm saying.
Oh no, I feel like I can't answer that because I don't know. I feel like no, you should. You can't. You no. I don't know. No. What do you wait? So you say if wait
Stumptious.
if you are dating
Stumptious.
a white person, you think that you can still feel like white people are racist?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can, because everybody aren't isn't who you're dating. You can't say that's all one person. Everybody's the same person.
Okay. Okay. So you black and I'm your white girlfriend, right? How do
Mm-hmm.
you think that how do you think your white girlfriend would feel that you feel like white people are racist? Is that selfish to is that selfish to be like, yeah, babe, I love you, but y'all white folks, y'all a little sketchy.
Yeah, I wouldn't be with the person if they felt like that, because it's like you boxing me in. That's like saying all men are dogs and you get married and date somebody and you like, y'all some dogs, but you dating a man. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Of course they're gonna, the man you're with is gonna be like, bitch, well, why the fuck you marry me? Like, what's, I'm sorry, we're not saying the B word, but in that instance, you might have to be a name or two. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think that that's fair. I don't think that you should box everybody into one. Like I said, it's about love. It's about how a person makes you feel. If that person makes you feel great, if that person does everything you need them to do, character wise, you know, personality wise, go for it. Hopefully they
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
have those thoughts. Talk about those hard things. I think you have to, if you're in a relationship, you have to talk about those hard things.
yeah, I think that would be a tough one. I think that would go back to like one of the problems or difficulties that people face when they're in a interracial relationship, because it's just like, yeah, I'm dating a white man or a white woman, but that doesn't make, the racial inequality that I face every day disappear. It doesn't make that disappear.
Right.
That's not going to
And that
disappear.
doesn't make the white person black because they're dating
Yeah,
a black person.
and it doesn't make the black person white. Like all of a sudden, because you're dating a white man or woman, that now you're accepted by the white community or
Mm-hmm.
by white people that don't like, that are racist and things like that. Like that doesn't shield you or dip you into some type of anti-race
Nope,
something.
because let me tell you, people who are truly racist are,
Truth
they
race.
think that way. They think everybody is the same. It doesn't matter. They're not going to be like, oh well, he's with Johnny, so I guess she's cool.
So yeah, I think
They're
that
not going to think like that. So
yeah, that falls under one of the problems that I think that they might face. So that would be a tough one because it's like every day you going to bed next to somebody that you love that is of the opposite race, but you you know you're faced with all of these problems and these inequalities from that race. So it's like, god damn, like that gotta be hard. That would have to be hard to navigate through because I'm
it
pretty
even
sure
goes back to like, I'm sorry, even for friendship, like even when all of this stuff was going on, even though it's not new, it's just being more shown. Yeah, like it's televised more. But it's not new. But even when that was going on, black friends was looking at their white friends like, what you gonna do?
I know you're gonna say something.
I know you're gonna say something because they are privileged in some areas, you know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna get overlooked, they're gonna get, more opportunities and things like that. That's just the reality of it. It does not mean that you personally think that way, that that's what's going on and you are, less than, but that's just what the reality of the world is. So yeah, that's going to be a damper every time because you definitely everybody was looking at their white friends like, you ain't gonna post nothing. You ain't gonna make a donation. You ain't gonna say nothing. You're not gonna call. You're not gonna call the law. You're not gonna call the district attorneys and stuff like that. You're not gonna do nothing. Why you ain't saying nothing? Oh, you one of them. It was all of that. So it's the same thing. I can only imagine in a relationship like that, and you're like,
it goes back to a lot of the things that we already talked about because it's like no matter how understanding your spouse is that is of the opposite race, they will never fully be able to understand or be as equally mad as you. It's not, yes, they can be mad. I'm not saying that they're not going to be livid, but they're
like
never.
him, like the Tika Sumter husband. He
Yeah,
all educated in history, blah
yeah,
blah
but
blah. He
it's
was hitting it out there, but I'm pretty sure they be having
it's
some
never going
conversations
to be
like,
equal.
"Bet you don't get it."
It's going to be some of those.
Like so many different movies. I know it's not real, but it's based off of an idea. So it's like, you know, that happens. You go through it. You in the market and you get a slight
The
racism.
side
Not
eye, or
slight.
you.
At this point, it be blunt. It be blunt racism right in your face. Like, oh no, get out of here. And your spouse, your partner is looking like, what happened? Like, don't even pick up on this stuff.
Yeah.
It'd be like that. So if that continues to happen in a relationship, I can only imagine that it becomes really hard. But I
Yeah.
think we've grown as a society a little bit, very, very little bit. Just because, like, you might not get shot going to the movies nowadays or hung or whatever, being out with your interracial couple. So that's the little smidget we done got past a little bit around. Maybe still in some states down there, down south, they still like that. But I don't think it's as bad. I don't think so. But I think we've grown just to kind of accept and be open to other things, other possibilities and stuff like that. It's okay without denouncing and talking down to another race. I think we getting better.
So if your son came home, well, child, because we both have to answer. So if your child came home with a white for you, woman, for me, man, what
Ooh,
would you
child.
say?
Ooh, child.
What would you say?
Oh, hi, son. This is your girlfriend. Awesome. Hi, nice to meet you. So, how do you make my son feel? And give her the whole rundown and just keep it like that. Like I said, how do you feel? Why are you dating this person? I'll get to the why and why do you like them? How do they make you feel? Or is it everything good? And then possibly talk about stuff that may happen in the world, or depending on what age. Of course, it'll hopefully be a teenager age.
We talk about older,
Yeah,
like
of course, teenager age. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to them about about the real deal, what's going on. It might not. Hopefully, I pray that we might get better. Hopefully, we have a world at this point because 2020 is getting. But
well, we are kids can date, okay?
hopefully we do have something, but hopefully it's a little bit better. And I might not have to say some of the stuff, but I would definitely talk to him about what it would look like and what the world may say to you guys and stuff like that, and prepare him and see how he would handle it in situations, and just try to teach him the best way. But you know, love who we love. But he
Now, for
already
me,
he already
my
right now let me know, mom. She not gonna be as cute as you, mom, and she gonna be brown. He's big on that. He's like you said, they see color at 4.
yeah,
He's big on
yeah,
that. Like somebody
I,
walking past, like, mom, she white or he brown. He already there, and I'd be like, be
yeah,
quiet.
yeah. My daughter be like, why are they talking like that? I'm like, oh my god, come on, come on, come on, come on, come
Oh,
on. But for me, like I have I mean, not so popular opinion, I guess, and it kind of contradicts the things that I said and that I do believe. But I would want my daughter to date black. Like, I mean,
oh
I'm
yeah,
all,
I want
yeah,
that too. But
I would want my daughter to date black. I'm all for love who you love, and I'm all for interracial dating. But to me, I would it's a tough one. I would want my daughter to date black. However, if she did come home with a white guy, um, secretly in my head, I'd be like, I hope the rest of them motherfuckers don't come home and do this shit. I got 4, so hope I can get one. Hope they all
you
don't
gotta
do
meet your
this.
family. You gotta go through outings. You gotta just be
And
like,
I'm
pray,
only
Lord,
saying that
hope it's
because,
right.
yeah, I'm only saying this because I know the shit that they're going to have to deal with. And I don't want to go to jail.
Maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know, but like I
Well,
would
we got
embrace
10
them. It's not
years.
nothing. Yeah, I got yeah. We got some years, but I would definitely embrace the relationship. It's not no type of where like she can't come home with a white man. It's definitely not that. But I'm
Right.
just saying, like in my mind, it's like the shit that we
You
don't
gonna
say
be
out
mad as
loud to be like,
shit.
God damn it.
You gonna go in your bathroom and pray. You do the smile, like I said. Oh, son, this is your girlfriend. Great.
Like yeah,
Walk right to the
I
bathroom,
said,
like, oh no.
like, but it's like I said, it's not. I'm just joking. It's not that big of a deal. I'm just joking. But I'm saying like I would want my kids to date black. But if they did come home with a white man, it's not a big deal. Hey, Johnny, how you? How? It's just the fact that I know some of the shit that like maybe Johnny parents might not be so accepting, and I don't like people treating my fucking kids no different. Don't treat my baby like she's less than. So it's like it's just. I guess my answer
Yeah,
is
all
coming
those things
from the
go through your
fear.
head.
Yeah, my answer is coming from the fear of the things that she's going to have to
Right.
deal with,
Right.
basically. So it
Totally
to me, it's
understandable. But
yeah,
I think that's
easier.
why we can do better as a society, even as parents, that we teach
Mhm.
just love. Love is
Yeah, but
love. It's not
just like Dr. Umi Johnson said, we are the ones that are like, oh, it's
open and
okay, and we're
uh-huh.
open. No other race is saying what we're saying right now,
Yep.
and
Can't even go over. Can't even go to
majority.
certain
I'm gonna
countries.
say majority of that race. Majority. I'm not gonna say everybody in the race, but a majority of the race. They're not saying this like me and you. Oh, it's okay, and this and that. No, it's not okay to them.
Nope.
So that's
It's a
why I'm
dad
saying.
somewhere
That's why
like,
my answer. Yeah, that's why my answer is what it is. It's like I would want my daughter to date black because not a lot of black people are saying you can't date a black girl. You know what I mean? Not a lot of black people are going to be looking at my baby sideways. Not a lot of black people are going to give my daughter a hard time for dating their son. So it's just like
and
it's just her going through those things is what scares me. I mean, I could care less who she brings home, but it's just the things
yeah,
that I know she'll have to deal with
right.
is
I
what scares
understand.
me.
Same.
Because
You
we're
gonna have
welcome.
those.
You know what I mean? And not a lot of families are going to be like that. It's
Nope.
just scary.
And you know that, if they're until they're adults, you when they're kids dating, you dating with the family too. You like, hey, what's up? Y'all
Mhm.
coming over there? What they doing over there in their household? It's just a
Yeah.
lot. Ooh, it's scary. I don't even know.
I can't go
At this
outside.
point, I just need my little brown son to make it and come home and be alive, child. That is the prayer for now. I'll need you. Listen,
Yeah.
dating, dating is a benefit at this point because this world fix us, fix it because it's ghetto.
Yeah, so I think we touched on everything. Um, Again, this was just our opinion. It's not to, you know, devalue any other race or any other cultures or anything like that. This is just our strictly our opinions and things that we think people might face and things like that. Just a conversation starter. We want to thank everybody for listening and joining us tonight. We also want to remind you guys to follow us on all of our social media platforms. And yeah, have a good night, guys.
Thank you. Questions for Queens. Good night.